Why is this a unique program? And it really is unique. It's different from anything else you're going to see out in the marketplace. And the biggest reason is because, as I said before, all reading components are taught at the same time. So you don't have to climb the decoding mountain. And when you get to the top, when students are able to read the words, then you're going to start teaching comprehension. That's not a very effective way to go. But if you have a program that teaches comprehension skills while students are learning to decode and practicing those decoding skills in a sequential manner, then you get to the top of both of those mountains at the same time. Okay, so let's talk about all of the components and what Connect to Comprehension does to provide instruction and practice in those components. For phonemic awareness, every level in the teacher's manual, there is an introduction. And the introduction provides you with the foundational skills in phonemic awareness that you need in the targeted patterns. So in level A, when we're working with CVC words, the phonemic awareness activities will be blending, segmenting, and doing phoneme graphing mapping with, guess what, CVC words. Okay, the same thing happens in level B as we move up the phonics ladder and we're working with VCE words and long vowel teams. The phonemic awareness activities will involve blending and segmenting as well as phoneme graphing mapping with those patterns. Phoneme graphing mapping is so important because it takes students from working with sounds and being able to manipulate the sounds to adding letters for those sounds. So it's a really good bridge between phonemic awareness and phonics. Phonics and decoding, the instruction and practice is accomplished through the use of the high noon decodable readers, but we build accuracy and automaticity at the word, phrase, and sentence level. And this is so important. I heard Dr. Torgerson speak at an International Dyslexia Association conference quite a few years ago, and he made this point really strongly that we can't expect students to read text, even decodable text, until we work with decoding at the word level and then the phrase level, and then finally the sentence level. So that's what Connect to Comprehension does. We work with automaticity and accuracy at the word level using the skill deck. So you make a deck with all of the words that have the patterns that are targeted at that level, and you play games and do interactive activities with those words. And that's what happens at the word level. At the phrase level, we use fluency phrases, and that's your box of fun, so that we're building from the word level to the phrase level. And then finally, at the sentence level, we're using the decodable readers. But we do all of these other activities first so that students know what to do when they get to the decodable readers. And again, the activities are multisensory, so that students are writing, they're reading, they're moving, they're using their hands, doing lots of activities. They're moving magnetic letters and doing lots of activities that help them. We know that multisensory activities are so important. Let's talk about, again, about the 5 components of reading and how they're all taught. We build fluency again at the word, phrase, and sentence level before we get to the text. If you want to look at a great routine of how to teach the fluency strips, there is a great video of a teacher doing exactly that, following the scripted manual, using the fluency strips on the YouTube channel, and you'll have a link to that at the end of this presentation. But if you go to YouTube and type in Connect to Comprehension, you'll get there and you'll see lots of good things. But if you're interested in the fluency routine, you'll be able to see that there. For comprehension, again, we're stressing upper level comprehension skills, but we do the lower level skills as well. So we talk about characters, we talk about events, we talk about settings, um, as well as upper level skills such as inferencing. And we build these skills sequentially, starting at level A and going all the way through to level F. And the types of activities that we're doing get more and more complex as we move through the levels. One other unique thing about the comprehension part is that every chapter has questions that students need to answer. They answer some orally and they answer some in written form. The questions that they answer in written form have sentence frames so that there is lots of scaffolding going on. The questions that they answer orally also includes scaffolding. So if you're asking a question that's up here and difficult for some students, underneath that question are other questions in bold that you can use to scaffold so that students can then get up to that upper level skill. In every chapter, there is oral and written questioning because we know that some of our struggling readers who get to the point where they can answer orally still have difficulty writing the answers to questions. So we spend a lot of time working on answering questions in complete sentences. Vocabulary is such an important part of Connect to Comprehension because we know that our struggling readers often have depressed vocabulary. Why is that? Well, it's because they don't read a lot, because reading is not fun and it's hard to do. When they do read, they read simpler text. So they don't have access to the types of vocabulary that we would expect they would know. So a big focus, as I said, of Connect to Comprehension is on vocabulary. There are wonderful tier 2 words, those words that appear often in text, in the High Noon readers. And we do a practice using the vocabulary deck. So the words that you're going to focus on are set up for you in the scripted lessons. You make a vocabulary deck for your students with student-friendly definitions, but we don't just end with the vocabulary words and student-friendly definitions. There are lots of activities using these words in various contexts. So we play games, we ask different kinds of questions. We work with multiple meaning words and use graphic organizers. Lots of interactive activities with vocabulary. One of the favorite games of many students is the vocabulary game called Show Me, where students pick out a vocabulary word from the deck and do motions to get the other students or to get you to guess what word. So kind of like charades, but again, that multi-sensory kind of activity.